I think the most important thing that a recruit should consider when choosing a college is that the school is the right fit for them. And when I mean fit, I don't mean just that they're going to fall in and maybe be a starter in football. I look at fit being a lot of different things. It needs to be socially the right place for them. Academically, for sure, should be number one. And the athletics aspect, or football in our case, should be kind of the icing on the cake. If something is taken away from them, they should have a lot of things that tie them to that school. For example, say a young man gets hurt and can't play football anymore. He should still stay at that school because of the other things that school has to offer for him. And so I really talk to our recruits about having the right fit when it comes to our program. We're going to look and evaluate them and make sure that they fit our football needs, but they need to evaluate the whole school in order to make sure that it fits their needs so they can be successful down the road. I look for three things. Our staff looks for three things. Number one, we look for a good student, somebody that we think is going to do well in the classroom. The second thing that we look for is a good athlete. It doesn't really matter if they just played one side of the ball in high school. They may have played an offensive position and a defensive position at their high school, but we look for a good athlete. We want to make sure that they're the right fit for us as an offense or defensive scheme, and they may play some position outside of what they normally played in high school when they come into our place. And the third thing we look for is we look for young men with good character, or good kids. And because we want them to make good decisions when they're here at college, especially those kids coming from high school to college. It's such a change, and they're given so much more freedom that we want them to be able to make as many good decisions as they possibly can, knowing that they're going to make a few bad ones, but that the more good ones that they make, the better off we're all going to be. Scholarshiping at Ottawa University, it's a combination of probably a lot of things that people have heard about, but what we do is we take a look at their academics. We establish an academic scholarship if they qualify for whatever range it might be. And then we stack football money on top of that. So every one of our football players gets some kind of a football scholarship. And then we look at financial aid, whether they qualify for any state grants or federal grants or loans or work study. And we try to put that all together and take away from the cost of going to school. And so it's a combination of a bunch of different things. We also need to, when we scholarship, make sure that we fall in between the guidelines set by the NAIA and having 24 full ride equivalencies within our program of those guys playing in the varsity level. So it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that we do give football scholarships, and we're fairly competitive with them. It has really helped recruiting. Matter of fact, it's opened a lot of doors to a lot of schools that we weren't able to even get our foot in the door with. We've also had a lot of people that have contacted us, unsolicited recruits from places all over the United States. And it's really allowed us to, I think, raise the level of athlete that we've been able to recruit. We still recruit our backyard, which is the Kansas and Missouri area, but a lot more people have heard about us. When you get as high as number 5 in the nation, that usually opens up some doors and avenues. And I think that because of our success, whether it's through the media, through the social media that we have utilized here within our football program, or through word of mouth, it's really opened some doors for us and with recruiting, and so it's really helped a lot. We're still in the midst of our recruiting. It's a long process. It's not something that finishes in February where you hear all the media talking about National Signing Day and guys going on ESPN and throwing on a hat and choosing a school. We were fortunate enough to have to announce 23 guys that had signed with our program at that point, which is a good start to our class. We would like to be able to have about 35-ish in our program this next year, because we fill some spots that we know that will graduate either this year or next year or down the road. So it's coming together pretty good. We've had a lot of people, be very interested in us, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know, these receivers, they almost like to catch a lot of footballs because that we've had quite a bit of people look at us that way. Defensively, we're starting to get some really good guys to be a part of our program. So I think that we'll be able to be a team that doesn't have to rebuild next year after losing a good number of people, but we'll be able to reload. Currently, our guys are going through our off-season program, which deals with lifting and conditioning. In the KCAC, we're able to, at this time, be able to be with our team 8 hours a week, and which is down from 20 hours in the fall. And then in that 8 hours, what we do is we put them through a strength and conditioning program. We really like this strength and conditioning program that we're using this year. It combines some philosophies from several people that we have ties to, former strength and conditioning coaches at Kansas State and Texas A&M, current strength and conditioning coaches at University of South Florida, who happens to be alum of Ottawa University. Also a friend of mine that I went to school with at the Air Force Academy, who's one of the premier strength and conditioning professionals out there, that works with athletes' performance using a lot of his philosophies and theories. So our guys are going through that, and then we're doing early morning running as a part of that as well, where we do a speed school, a conditioning, and we do competitive kind of relays and that sort of thing. We divide our team into 6 teams, and so if you're following us on Twitter, you'll know that we put out every Friday which team's doing what, and we call it the Brave Challenge. So it makes it fun, it makes it competitive, and the guys are working hard to be able to defend their conference championship. Spring football practices will begin for us right after spring break, which will be right around the end of March. We'll go into the first couple weeks of April, and we'll end with a spring game. But we'll get our practices in at that time, and get it done enough time to where the guys have a couple, 2-3 weeks before finals, and we wrap up the semester.